The Highwayman, as interpreted by Termine. The poem was first published by Alfred Noye in 1906, when he was a college student in London. As he sat in his room looking out the window, he could see a field of purple heather, gusty pine trees, and a large moon lighting a ribbon of road. He fantasized about the scene as emblematic of a tempestuous love affair in the tradition of the tales of Robin Hood. Now, Termine.
The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, and the highwayman came riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He had a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of claret velvet, and breeches of brown doeskin. They fitted with never a wrinkle. His boots were up to his thigh, and he rode with a jeweled twinkle, his rapier hilt a twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle under the jeweled sky. Over the cobbles he clattered and clashed in the dark inn yard. He tapped with his whip at the shutter, but all was locked and barred. He whistles a tune to the window, and who should be standing there but Bess, the landlord's black-eyed daughter. Bess, the landlord's daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into her long black hair. And dark, in the dark old inn yard, a stable wicket creaked where Tim the ostler listened. His face was white and peaked. His eyes were hollows of madness, his hair like moldy hay. But he loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's red-lipped daughter. Dumb as a dog he listened. He heard the robber say, "One kiss, my bunny sweetheart. I'm after a prize tonight, but I shall be back with the yellow gold before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply or harry me through the day, then look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." He rose upright in his stirrups. He scarce could reach her hand, but she loosened her hair in the casement. His face burnt like a brand when the sweet black waves of perfume came tumbling over his breast, and he kissed its waves in the moonlight. Oh, sweet black waves in the moonlight. Then he tugged at his reins in the moonlight and galloped away to the west. He did not come in the morning. He did not come at noon. But out of the tawny sunset, before the rise of the moon, when the road is a gypsy's ribbon looping the purple moor, the red-coat troops came marching, marching, marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. They said no word to the landlord. They drank his ale instead, and they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of the narrow bed. Two of them knelt at the casements with muskets at their side. There was death in every window, and hell in one dark window, for Bess could see through her place the place that he would ride. They had bound her up to attention with many a sniggering dress, They had tied a rifle beside her, with the barrel beneath her breast. "Now keep good watch." And they kissed her. She heard the dead man say, "Look for me by moonlight. Watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." They had bound her up to attention with many a sniggering jest. She twisted her hands behind her, but all of the knots held good. She writhed her fingers till they were wet with sweat or blood. They stretched and strained in the moonlight. The hours crawled by like years, till at the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it. The trigger, at least, was hers. The tip of one finger touched it. She would not, she strove, there was nothing else. She strove no more for the rest. Up she stood at attention with a barrel beneath her breast. She would not strive again. She would not risk their hearing. For the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood in her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. What? Had they heard it? The horse hoofs ringing clear in the distance. Were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of the hill, the highwaymen came riding, riding, riding. The redcoats looked to their priming. She stood up straight and still in the frosty silence, in the echoing night. Nearer he came and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last deep breath, and her finger moved in the moonlight. Her musket shattered the moonlight, shattered her breast in the moonlight, and warned them with her death. He turned, he spurred to the west. He did not know who stood with her head bowed, or her musket drenched in her own red blood. Not till the dawn did he hear it. His face grew gray to hear how Bess, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there. Back he spurred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him and his rapier brandished high. Blood red were his spurs in the golden noon. Wine red was his velvet coat. And they shot him down in the highway, down like a dog in the highway. And he lay in his blood in the highway with a bunch of lace at his throat. And still in a winter's night, they say, when the wind is in the trees and the moon is a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas, and the road is a gypsy's ribbon looping the purple moor. The highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. The highwayman comes riding up to the olden door. Over the cobbles he clatters and clangs. In the darkened yard, he taps with his whip at the shutter, but all is locked and barred. He whistles a tune to the window, and who should be standing there but Bess, the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, plaiting a dark red love knot into the waves of her long black hair, into the moonlit waves of her long black hair.